Hopefully I'm in focus here. Alright, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly how I've been able to double my testosterone completely naturally. So I know this sounds like a clickbaity concept on the surface, but that's quite literally what I was able to do. So I was just going to share with you guys today all the steps that went into doubling my testosterone from this number to that number right there. Stick along for the video if you want to find out how I did it and how you can accomplish a similar thing. So seeking to double your testosterone isn't solely for the purpose of seeing a higher number on paper, but it's more so like alleviating symptoms and overall feeling like a much better individual, being able to recover better, having more vitality for life and just more energy to put into various things, having a higher stress tolerance and just like work ethic and all of that. And these are things I've noticed in my doubling of my testosterone. So if that's something that you're like seeking out, or you feel you might have like a lower amount of that, you could probably benefit from boosting your testosterone or just optimizing it in some way. Okay, so getting right into it, step one is going to be diet related. If you are a very lean individual and you're perpetually dieting and just never giving yourself enough calories or fat, this is going to play a significant role in the amount of testosterone that your body's able to produce, because the substrate for testosterone is cholesterol, and cholesterol comes from fat. If you are calorically restricting yourself like I was previously, when I got this result, 360 whatever nanograms per deciliter, then you're gonna wanna add some fat into your diet, and you're also gonna wanna add some calories. So this is not the case if you're an overweight individual and you just have a shit ton of adipose tissue that's causing excess aromatization into estrogen, because if your estrogen levels are super high, you're gonna have less testosterone. That's just the way it works. This is more so in my case for like overly lean individuals or perpetually dieted individuals are going to want to look into this tip specifically. So to give you some context here, I've been weight training for probably like 5 to 6 years at this point, and I've like really been obsessed with the gym for that long too, and I still love it. So I played sports in high school. I did football, wrestling, I did track like earlier on. And throughout these years, like I had an introduction to weight training, and then in my junior year of high school, I got very serious into it. And I just got very like enveloped in the gym and saw like all the positive things that I had in my life. So once I started hitting it hard junior year of high school, I just became obsessed with it, and then I've been weight training ever since. I was introduced to the weights in like 8th grade, so it's really been almost a decade at this point that I've been like weight training, but like haven't really been consistent for any longer than like 5 years now. So when I was younger, like after like the initial onset of puberty and all of that in high school, I definitely knew I had great recovery, great libido, like overall great vitality. I was able to like go throughout my life with a high amount of energy, and I was always able to recover from like whatever, you know, things threw at me, like multiple sports practices, weight training on top of it. You know, I would get sore, this and that, I would get run down, but I was always able to recover and like feel good and still have energy to like hang out with my friends, do things that I wanted to do. But fast forward a few years, I was 19 years old, and I decided that I wanted to do my first bodybuilding competition. On this journey, I just hopped straight into a diet. So I had been dirty bulking for, I don't know, 2-3 years at this point, and I've accumulated a lot of muscle tissue, and I was probably still just under 20% body fat. So I wasn't like overly obese or anything, but I was right around like 200 to 205 pounds. And I was just sick and tired of eating food, to be honest. So right away, I hopped into a cut. And I didn't really track anything at all. I just kind of stopped eating as much, and I was probably, I would say, eating around 2,000 calories per day, because that's just where my appetite was at the point in time, and I just wanted to get to a leaner body composition before I started prepping officially and like tracking everything I ate and all of that. So during this time, I ate like really clean foods, because I was under the impression that, you know, that's what bodybuilders did. They ate like low fat shit, they ate like, you know, clean carbs and whatnot, and that's what I did. So I got very lean very quick. But in the process of that, I did not eat dietary fat hardly at all, honestly. I might have had some whole eggs in the morning, but that was probably about it. Maybe a little bit of peanut butter here and there. I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 grams of fat max on the day, which just was not ideal whatsoever. So I cut down from 205 pounds to 165 pounds on stage. I lost 40 pounds of body weight, and I was in a very steep calorie deficit. I just went in with a mindset like, oh, I used to be a wrestler, you know, I've cut weight before, I know how to like, I have the discipline to diet myself into the ground effectively and come out on top with it and look sick, which I got really fucking peeled, but you know, at the expense of my own testosterone levels. And at the time, I didn't realize all the negative effects of not including a lot of fat in your diet and going into a more reasonable deficit rather than just cutting drastically. It was like 2 weeks out at this point. I was probably around like 167 pounds or so, just absolutely peeled. And I literally had striated glutes, veins running up my whole body, just feathered triceps, like disgusting amount of shreds. Which I probably didn't even need to have for my first show, but that's just the way I took it. When I got my testosterone levels checked 2 weeks out from my competition, I believe it came back right around like 270 nanograms per deciliter, which is very, very low. It's just above what's considered hypogonadal, which means like you're clinically low test. The reason why I got it checked in the first place is because that was the first time in my life that I kind of felt like shit, and I felt very under-recovered, and I had a very low libido, low energy, which is like obviously all symptoms of a diet, and that's probably what induced that low level of testosterone. But I think it definitely could have been mitigated by better practices overall, which I'm going to get into by optimizing like the following variables that I'll talk about. So fast forward, like a year and a half. Last October, I got my testosterone checked again, and I had gotten it like a few times after that, and it was always coming back in like the high 300s, low 400s. That was kind of like typical for me. And I think this was mainly because I never really let myself gain a significant amount of body fat after my show. I did have like a massive rebound, but I immediately dieted back down into the 180s for a powerlifting meet. So I never really let my body fully recover from being so dieted and so nutrient deprived. For mostly social media's sake, I stayed very, very lean. Probably like, I don't know, like 10, 11, 12% body fat. So like lower than my body honestly naturally wanted to be. But I was still at maintenance or deficit amount of calories, and I was still working way hard, overtraining like crazy, just like grinding all the time, and I just never really let my body recover. So throughout that amount of time, I've learned a lot about what I can do to optimize my testosterone. And yeah, basically don't stay dieted for almost 2 years, because that'll probably end up in low test. So make sure you find a good sweet spot for your body to where you have good energy, you have good vitality, you're able to recover well. So to sum up step one, basically you need to eat in a small calorie surplus, right? And you need to let your body get to a healthy body fat percentage if you want to have high testosterone. And the main fats I like to include in my diet are saturated fats. I don't really consume much polyunsaturated or monounsaturated or whatever the hell the other ones are. I mostly just consume saturated fat, because if I'm gonna have a diet model where my fat isn't overly high because I wanna stay somewhat lean, I want all of those, 70, 80 grams of fat to come from very, very bioavailable sources that are gonna result in a high testosterone level. So what I like to do is I like to do whole eggs, a lot of red meat, specifically like ground beef, steak, things like that. And then I don't honestly eat salmon that often, but that's another good option. And I know there's like a lot of omega-3s and stuff, which helps like modulate your lipid profile. I know like liver and organs are supposed to be great for that too. I don't honestly consume any organs at this point in time, but that's something I'm looking into in the future potentially. But yeah, if you currently are eating more like peanut butter, avocados, things like that, potentially switch it to more saturated fat sources that are higher in cholesterol, and this could result in a higher testosterone level. So step number 2 is going to be sleep. And these aren't in like order of equal importance or anything. I think sleep is also very, very important, just like diet is. So for me personally, with a lot of heavy training and like overall just going throughout life with a lot of energy, I notice I need 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night to feel fully rested and ready to take on the day. If I start sleeping, 7 hours perpetually even, I just won't simply have the same amount of like energy. And I think this is counterproductive for testosterone. So, everyone's genetics when it comes to sleep are different, but me personally, I like to get 8 to 9 hours, especially when I'm training very, very hard for something. This goes along with the next step, but you can supplement around sleep as well. I love magnesium glycinate around bedtime in order to like get myself in that parasympathetic state, to just get me to like fall asleep and have like good sleep latency as well. And there's also ashwagandha, which can help like de-stress you towards the end of the day. I'm not a huge fan of melatonin, but if my circadian rhythm is all out of whack, I will take melatonin as well. But overall, optimizing your sleep and getting as much as possible is just quintessential for having a high testosterone level. We know this in recent years, like how freaking important sleep is, and that it's like a natural PED. And in the past, people kind of had the mindset like, oh, sleep when you're dead, like grind more, sleep less. You have to use every hour in the day. But my quality of work is simply much better when I sleep a lot of times, and I'm reciprocating and echoing a lot of the views of other individuals when I say this, but I honestly truly agree with it. So yeah, get great quality sleep and your testosterone and overall energy will just be much better. When I was dieting to the ground, I simply couldn't sleep because I had no freaking body fat. My body wanted to wake up and it wanted to, hunt for food, because it's like, oh, we're dying, right? So don't get 6% body fat and try to stay there or else your sleep's probably going to be trash and your testosterone levels subsequently are going to be trash as well. So, you know, maintain a healthy body fat percentage if you want high testosterone as a natural. And make sure that in addition to that, you are setting yourself up for success when it comes to sleep. So having like a very, very dark room, you know, a cold room, making sure that you're not having blue light exposure like right before bed, so that your onset can be much better. Because I notice if I'm on my phone late at night with real bright blue light in my eyes, you're essentially telling your brain like it's still daytime, be awake, be like alert, all that, and then you're not gonna be able to fall asleep as easily. So I always turn on like the night shift on the iPhone. I even sometimes wear like blue light glasses and things like that to help myself get to bed quickly when I decide to like hit the pillow, because I don't want to be tossing and turning for an hour when I decide to go to bed, because you know that's going to cause me to have to wake up later and just overall throw off my schedule entirely. So yeah, iced coffee is way superior to hot coffee no matter the season. Okay, maybe middle of winter hot coffee, but iced coffee, come on, it's way better. Anyway, step number 3 is going to be supplementation, right? So yes, you can boost your testosterone with natural means as well. And you know, these supplements could be argued to be natural, whatever. They're like occurring herbs and all this and that. Like they occur in nature, yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, they're in a capsule, you have to take it. So you can optimize your testosterone through natural means, but you might not hit that upper echelon high value that you're seeking that's really going to help boost your performance and like boost your vitality in life if you don't delve into supplementation. So back in October, a year and a half after doing a show and still dieting and all that, letting my body weight never get above 180 pounds because I wanted to be lean, I got my blood work tested. And if you guys are familiar with Derek's channel, he actually did a reaction video to Ryan's blood work. In that video, I actually shared my own testosterone levels, and they came back at 360 nanograms per deciliter, which I shared with you guys earlier in the video. I felt decent, honestly. Like life was fine, but I wasn't like a high functioning human by any means. I didn't feel great. So what did I do to get that 360 to 711? Well, I did the diet things, I did the sleep things, but on top of that, I looked very, very hard into supplementation. So I started doing research, and what I came up with was I needed more vitamin D to help get myself to the top of the reference range for vitamin D, which for me ended up being 5,000 to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 per day. I also looked into magnesium to help like sleep and stress, and that's a supplement I just touched upon. Magnesium glycinate specifically is the more sedative form rather than like aspartate or citrate. Ashwagandha lowers cortisol, and it's been shown to do this in the literature. That helps boost testosterone. I also looked into like natural herbs like Fedoja agressus and Tonkat Ali, and I started researching them and found, okay, these things might work, this and that. And I bought some random ones on Amazon, but I don't think the sourcing was the best. So when I got them, like I didn't really notice that crazy of an effect. And you know, I would run out of one thing and it'd be so tedious to like have to restock each little component of what was optimizing my test. That's why I was super excited when Gorilla Mind came out with Gorilla Mode Sigma. So this product right here, Gorilla Mode Sigma, essentially combines all the ingredients that I had already kind of been taking to help boost my test, but it puts it into one simplistic product that has it all already optimized in there. The vitamin D3 is only at 3,000 IUs, which for my genetics and my sunlight exposure, I like to take more. But Derek collaborated with Andrew Huberman on this, and like Huberman doesn't directly get any sales, but I think he was really happy with making this product because I think it's probably the most all-encompassing testosterone booster on the market at this point. And this product specifically, I believe has helped boost my test even further than those variables that I touched upon could have, right? I might have ended up in like the 500s or something, but adding Sigma into the equation with that Tonkat Ali mitigating aromatization into estrogen as you bulk up, Fedoja agressus boosting LH towards the top of the reference range. All those things I believe that have really helped boost my testosterone even further and help me just feel incredible in the gym. When you take this product, you'll notice a lot of things, I promise. You'll notice like it's working, if you know what I mean. I don't want to be like TMI or anything, but it freaking works. It's good stuff. So yeah, it definitely helped to boost my performance in the gym, especially when I bulked up and I gained a little bit of body fat. Tonkat Ali kind of mitigates some of that aromatization into estrogen, so I think that plays a significant role. You just have to be mindful of not taking this perpetually. So if you take it 4 weeks in a row, take the 5th week off, or you can do like a daily schedule where you took it 5 days on, 2 days off sort of thing, because you don't want to incur testicular toxicity from the Fedoja agressus. It's going to boost your LH really high, so you don't want your LH being above the clinical reference range, because, you know, too much luteinizing hormone could result in testicular toxicity, which is something we don't want. I don't think it's something to be like overly wary about, but I think that with ashwagandha and fadoja especially, I don't think that you should just perpetually take it, because you might downregulate your serotonin in your brain with the ashwagandha to where you're just desensitized to stress entirely, and you don't get the same kind of ups and downs that life throws at you. You kind of just have this baseline level of gray with ashwagandha, and I know some people have incurred that side effect. And additionally, I have seen that ashwagandha, when taken perpetually, can for some individuals raise liver enzymes as well, so that's something to be mindful of. But overall, I think that this is the most all-encompassing product. I can't say that word. All-encompassing product on the market when it comes to testosterone. So I will say I do have a discount code for this. I'm not necessarily like making, you guys can buy all the ingredients separately and take them. I don't think it will be as cost effective or as simplistic as this, which is why I think it's an outstanding product. But you can use code Jacob if you want to grab this. It gets you a 10% off discount at Gorilla Mind. And this is recently restocked as well. So I'm a huge freaking fan of this product. I was so happy when they came out with this, and it really shows in my blood work as well, which is part of the reason I wanted to make this video, just with how enthused I am. You just can take 4 capsules and not really have to worry about buying all these individual products, making sure they're stocked at the exact same time. I think that's why it's a beautiful product, because it, you know, it accomplishes that for you. It makes it so streamlined to keep your testosterone high. And if you guys don't believe me that it works, try it for yourself. Just give it a go. Let me know how you feel, because I promise if you have some of the symptoms that I had when I had low testosterone, I think that it'll work wonders for you. But make sure you're doing the lifestyle variables as well if you want to like create the most optimal scenario possible. So yeah, Gorilla Mode Sigma, code Jacob, check it out. Derek and Andrew Huberman did a freaking wonderful job with this. Good ass product right here. So number 4 on the list is going to be stress management. This is related to overall like lifestyle habits, right? So if you're constantly taking on too many responsibilities and you're involved in a lot of toxic relationships that are causing your, you know, mental to go up and down, and you have all these cortisol spikes and you're just not feeling the best all the time, and you have this constant kind of burden on your shoulders, I think that you need to mitigate those problems if you want to boost your testosterone. Because at the end of the day, if your cortisol is constantly elevated and you're always in this sympathetic state where you're like, oh, go, 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 and you just never let yourself calm down and relax and like rest and digest, parasympathetic is what they call it. AP psychology, baby. Still remember. Yeah, if you're always in that sympathetic state, you're gonna end up with low test probably, in my opinion, which, you know, you've seen with like some of these top fitness influencer people like Jesse James West, Marine especially. You know, they were just go, go, go all the time, and they were also staying very lean. And even Alex Eubanks, same thing. If you're just staying very lean and you're always go, 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 and you're always constantly stressed out, the result is probably gonna be low testosterone, unfortunately, if you're natural. So that's something to keep in mind, is mitigate stress as much as possible, which ashwagandha is great at that. Not to plug another product, but Gorilla literally has a product called cortisol blocker, which helps mitigate the amount of cortisol that your body can reduce as a result of life stresses, which is like amazing. It's definitely something to check out. Or you can just literally try to like cut out those variables from your life as much as possible, just from making smarter choices, like becoming more efficient with time management. Meditation is something that I know helps a lot with stress management for people. Personally, I don't meditate, but that could be something that benefits you. If you notice that you're constantly stressed out and you're just exhaling all the time and you're feeling overly stressed. So yeah, stress management is key. Eliminate cortisol as much as you can. Just have enough to like get yourself up in the morning and hit the gym hard and do all those things. Okay, so the 5th and final step, and I think this one is actually very important for you guys that are weight training, which I assume if you're on this channel or watching me, you probably strength train, weight train, bodybuild. This is a really important step, is training management. One thing that I noticed that people with low tests do, and what I did at the time as well, was overtraining, doing too much volume, taking too many sets to failure. For the majority of people, this is not an issue, but if you're someone that has a very strong willpower and you're constantly burning the candle and just going out in the gym and balls to the wall every single session, I believe that this can lower your testosterone, especially over time, and it's kind of like a cyclical effect. So you go into the gym, you hit like 5 sets for multiple movements on a body part, and you're taking all those to failure, just torching your muscles every single day that you train. You're not taking enough rest days. You're going in there and just annihilating yourself effectively. And then your test lowers as a result because you have this big burden to recover from. and then you're going back to the gym and you're doing the same thing again on a different muscle group, you have this insurmountable amount of damage to recover from. And your body can honestly get used to this over time, and it won't even get sore anymore. You're never recovering it. So that's kind of what I was doing. I could handle so much volume in the gym, but one thing that you can do to prevent this amount of overtraining from so much volume and so much time spent in the gym is you can consolidate your training with more intensity and less sets. And I think this is super important for naturals to keep their testosterone high and keep their progress up in the gym, because ultimately that's what matters, right? Like, testosterone can facilitate a better lifestyle, but in addition to that, it can facilitate better gains in the gym as well. And another thing that goes alongside this is taking adequate rest days and rest between sets. If you're lifting very, very heavy, you're gonna have to take a lot of rest between sets in order to replicate that on the following set or be able to make good progress overall. If I'm, hitting bench press and then next thing I know, I'm waiting a minute and doing another set of bench press, I'm gonna have a tremendous strength drop off. Probably cut out a little bit of volume if you're doing a bunch of sets with multiple different movements per muscle group. Try to take some additional rest days. So for me, I train 6 times every 8 days. And if I do this schedule for a while and I feel overly run down, I'll take an additional rest. Every set that you're doing in the gym is counting towards something, whether it be progressive overload, time under tension, or just simply fatiguing the muscle with an adequate weight. You don't want to go in the gym and just pump out like 10 sets of lateral raises because you can, right? And then expect that you're going to be able to recover from such amount of work. You basically want to do less work with more stimulus if you're natural, in my opinion. So if you watch like Dorian Yates and Mike Thurston, they just trained recently, and I'm a really big fan of Dorian's style of training, where he just takes like 1 or 2 sets to failure or even beyond failure and just induces a crazy response in the muscle. And if you don't necessarily just want to do 1 or 2 sets, if you want to do like 2, 3, 4, maybe take like the first 2 sets not quite to failure, and then on the final set take that one to failure. And make sure you're resting adequate between sets too, so that you can use enough weight to produce this significant response to training that's going to give you a big jump in tests. So you're not going to be able to train very heavy if you're running around the gym, supersetting everything, taking only 30 seconds rest between sets, and just going for like a pump or a burn. It's not what you want to do. So make sure that you're very strategic about how you train, and that you're not overtraining and inducing too much muscular damage and fatigue, especially if you're in a calorie deficit or even at maintenance calories. You don't have the same substrate to recover, and you don't have the hormonal structure coming from outside to recover from high amounts of training that you might see your favorite bodybuilder or freaking influencer or whoever the hell doing. So just keep that in mind and be sure to train within your recoverable limits. Very, very strategically, selectively, and with a lot of intensity. This means that I'm taking every set very seriously, and I'm not, walking out of the gym like I just destroyed myself. I'm having a great stimulus on the muscle, but next time I want to train, I really want to go in and train again. I'm not forcing myself to go into the gym on days I feel awful and just pump out another workout just for the hell of it. The bigger your muscles get and the more weight that you can move, in my opinion, the recoverable volume decreases as a result, because you're able to move more weight now. You're able to induce more damage within a given set. So the overall amount of sets that you can tolerate and recover from, especially with the hormonal structure of a natural, simply isn't going to be as high as it once was when you were lifting lighter weights. So always keep that in mind. And if you guys want help structuring your training, I do offer coaching. I can help you with that. Or just simply, look at people who are intelligent about training methodology. There's a lot of great resources out there, but just be sure to take your own personable feedback and reciprocate that in your training. So if your body's telling you, hey dude, you're overdoing it, that's a sign that you need to cut back a little bit and focus more on quality over quantity. That's like my methodology with training, and I think that's definitely helped boost my testosterone. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up today's video. Hopefully that wasn't too long-winded. I tried to get into as much detail as possible while, not getting overly enveloped in the intricacies of like training, dieting, and all these different things. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your suggestions for future video ideas in the comments. I love like hearing what you guys want to see. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna be back here full time now. I'm actually holding myself to it, believe me. It's been a while, but I'm freaking back. So Contest prep has started. I'm 8 weeks out. I've been dieting for 4 weeks and still got the highest test I've probably ever had outside of my teen years. So yeah, you know, all that aromatization is coming down now. We're stripping fat. We're feeling great so far. So if you guys want to follow the journey to stage, I'm going to be starting a series from now forward. Might do another show after that. So it's going to get real interesting here. I'll be taking you guys along for it. I have my roommate Milan moving in here, and he's actually going to help me film and edit some stuff for this prep as well. So that's gonna like make it much more easy on my end. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace out.